Why, hello and welcome everybody. It is Pohx again. So today I want to kind of go ahead and briefly go over my Atlas of Worlds guide. Now this is kind of something tailored to me. This is not like the best information you can find. This is mainly for just like beginners who are coming into the game. I haven't played the game in a couple months, so I feel like it's going to suit people kind of like myself. So first off, let's kind of talk a little bit about how the Atlas works specifically. So there are 3 tiers of maps, excluding uniques. We'll tag uniques as kind of separate and call them unique maps. You have, and I'll just show you inside my bank, for example, or my stash. You have white tier maps, yellow tier maps, and red tier maps. And it's important to know the difference between them because as you continuously go on, I'm going to show you an example here, and progress through your maps, the map mods on the maps will actually get stronger, like they'll get more difficult. So if I were to trans a marshes map, trans a temple map, and trans a underground sea map, you can see here in the underground sea, it says players cannot regenerate life, mana, or energy shield. So I'm going to search regenerate here and see if something pops up, and before nothing pops up, and feels bad, man. So basically, a quick example of what this means is if you were to run this map mod, you cannot regenerate life, mana, or ES, on a white map, that just simply wouldn't happen. They wouldn't allow you to get a cannot regenerate on a white map. So it's important to know the difference between them because as you upgrade map tiers, it's like a significant boost to monster strength, monster defenses, resistance penalties. Pretty much every mod will upgrade and get stronger as they go up higher tiers. And that's kind of really important to understand when you're trying to progress your character. And I would not recommend running red maps unless you're doing them blue until you feel very confident with your character and have active forms of defense. But let's move back to the actual Atlas. Now the way the completion bonus works is I'm just going to explain it in a very simple way. And there's a lot of, more specific detailed ways you could look up, but I don't want to give you any misinformation. So simply put, the higher your completion bonus, the better chance at map drops you get. And I have noticed a significant increase on, slapping up and raising my percentage bonus. Now the way to get the completion bonus is very simple, and there is actually a proper way to do this and like a not proper way to do this, and I'm going to go ahead and explain the method that I used. Now, what I did is I started off obviously on your basic tier 1s. Tier 1s are going to be yellow maps. And they are, sorry, white maps. And the white maps will stay white all the way up until yellow, which is your next tier. So you want to complete pretty much every single white map that you can get. And the reason why is you don't really efficiently run white maps for experience. The white mapping phase doesn't last very long. You'll only be in it for maybe a couple hours, maybe a day, like that's it. And then you're moving on to the next tier of maps. So definitely do your best, whether it's the beginning of the league and you're trying to unlock everything, or it's later on in the league and you can just buy them. Just go ahead and do all the white maps. To get the completion bonus again, all you gotta do is rare it or roll it with a magic property, which is just blue like we demonstrated, and kill the boss, and that's it. So if you're level 80 and you don't get good experience, for example, from 68 maps, all you gotta do is buy the maps for like, 1 or 2 alks, transmute it, go kill the boss, and leave, and you get your completion bonus, and that's it. Now, the reason why you want to do that is because completing a tier 1 map and getting the completion bonus will further on help you in getting higher tier maps later on. Because a tier 1 map is not going to roll against a tier 11 map in terms of drop rates, it's just going to give you a bonus. The only thing that's going to roll against a tier 11 map would be adjacent and extra tier 11 maps. So, when you get to your yellow tier maps, this is kind of when you want to be a bit more this is kind of, I guess you could say, like when the strategy kind of comes in as to how you could do it. And this is not, like I said, going to be the most efficient way to do it. This is simply how I did it. So in terms of your yellow mapping progression, what I did at first is I found a map that I really liked. So for example, a map that I really liked was Phantasmagoria. Now Phantasmagoria is not normally a yellow map, and you can use something called a Shaper's Stone on it, or Shaper's Orb, and we'll explain that here very shortly. Another map though that I really liked would be, for example, let's see if I can get a good one, Reef. Reef to me is a very solid map. It's a very nice open layout, it's very easy to clear. Another one would be Key. Underground River is probably my favorite, and these are really, really, really good to know. So let's use Underground River as an example because this is my favorite map. And it's really easy, it's a straight line, the boss hits a bit hard, but mechanically he's very simple. So my goal for getting maximum gains of Underground River would be to unlock pretty much all my tier 9 maps. Everything that's tier 9, I'm going to try to unlock. So that would be coves, and tier 9 and below. Shore, tropical island, reef, you name it. I'm trying to unlock pretty much everything that's T9 and below. And the reason why I want to do this and not do other T10 maps, such as like, you know, courtyard, colonnade, etc., is because when I roll the chance at a T10 map, if I don't have any other T10 maps unlocked, the only T10 map that can drop is Underground River and anything that's adjacent to it. So the other T10 map that would be adjacent, say I didn't have Key unlocked, it could drop Underground River, Key, or it could go +1 into an Underground Sea. Now, of course, it could also +1 into any of my other T11s, but we're not talking about that right now. We're just talking about getting, you know, maximum Underground River gains. So again, just a brief, simple explanation. If there's a map you really like and it's decently high tiered, skip the other maps of that tier just for the leveling phase. It's okay, you know, until you want to do red maps. But if you're still in your yellow phase maps, all you got to do is just focus on that one map, right? So say you wanted to, let's use another one as an example. Say you really liked Crypt. Crypt is a T9, right? Don't run any other T9s. So keep your T9s blank. You can run your T10s, your T11s, your T12s, your T13, whatever you want to do, right? And you want to basically just leave T9s open. So the only way you could get another T9 would be if you ran Crypt, you'd have a chance at getting a museum. And you would also have a chance at getting an arsenal, but it's a T10, so it doesn't matter. And every single map would basically be forced into a T9. Now again, all of this is pretty much irrelevant when you can just buy maps, but for people who don't have the ability to buy maps, or just want to continuously chain one specific map, this is a very effective method to do, and I really enjoyed it. Now, what you want to do after that, or another thing as well, is doing your unique maps. Unique maps literally just boost your bonus and don't really roll against anything because, well, they're unique and they don't drop like normal, right? So try to knock out all your unique maps as well. Something else to note is the Shaper's Orbs. So let's cover those. Shaper Orbs, you can see, are blocked by these blue circles. What they mean is, if you run a Colonnade, for example, right, and you run it rare for the bonus, the boss will drop a Shaper's Orb. What a Shaper's Orb does is it adds 5 levels to your map. So in this case of my Phantasmagoria, it was originally a tier 4 map. However, because I shaped it, it got +5 levels, which makes it a tier 9. Which means it now rolls against my other maps of T9, I believe. But that's okay, because you can turn a map with a great layout that's low tier into a higher tier map, and you could just continuously chain and run it. And this kind of adds a really cool way of mapping that kind of unlocks your own sense of progression, but more importantly is really fun because you're not forced into running maps you don't want. If you're running red maps, it's kind of a bit different, and you could realistically go for a full Atlas completion and it's okay, but that's kind of just like the basics of what I was doing. But anyway, that's pretty much going to cover it. If there's anything I did not explain well, please, you know, drop them in the comments below, and I'll see if I can maybe, you know, maybe reword something or something, Kappa. But that's pretty much just kind of what I was doing. You know, it was a highly requested video, and I wanted to just give you guys the TLDR of what I've been doing. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy yourself. Hope you guys have a wonderful time. And as always, I'll see you boys all tomorrow. Take care, everyone.